Okay, y'all. So I wanted to create a quick guide for you guys to create core values. Okay. Um, if you are new here, I am Kimberly Ann. Welcome to the Rose Garden. It brings me great joy and delight to make these videos for you. These videos are definitely geared towards black and brown sisters like myself who are single mamas. I am a single mother, okay? I have 3 daughters, also have 4 nieces. So these videos I'm creating for them to come back and view and to possibly learn from their relationship, for their relationships. And I hope these videos touch anybody here that watches them. So I do create this for women all around the world, and I love what I do. I'm loving this new space that I'm in. This is a new space for me, honestly, and I'm loving it actually to death. Like, it's very rewarding. So if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Hit that thumbs up, ring my bell so you know when I post. Okay, and let's dive in. Let's dive in. I want to give you guys some core values. I literally just redid my core values today. I'm so excited because these core values that I decided to go with really home in onto everything that I want. Now, when it comes to core values, what has been working for me, especially since I'm back in the dating scene, that's another thing I got to say in my intro. I just recently decided to start back dating in January. All these videos that I do publish are my lessons and things that I've gone through and that I've learned from personal accounts, from dating and marriage. I also am a divorcee. So anything that I'm saying is literally coming from firsthand experience. So if it sounds buffoonery, baby, listen, I was in buffoonery, okay? If it sounds pretty normal, that's me. I have had a plethora of different varieties of relationships with each one of my daughter's fathers. I do have 3 different baby fathers with my kids because my vow was I would never let a man play me twice. I'm not gonna give a man multiple kids and he didn't cheated on me with each one. I'm not doing that. That ain't me. Or he's played dumb with each one, or he anything. Men do crazy stuff, right? But we love them. They need us. We need them. Okay. But that's besides the point. Now, with these core values, I want you to create a list of core values that not only represents you, but this list is a list that you can also utilize to compare to the people that you date. And you can ask the person that you're talking to, hey, what are your core values? Give me 5 of them. Go. Make it fun. Be light and airy with it. And I did that with one of my prospects on my roster today. And we shared 3 of the same core values out of 5. It was respect, it was honesty, and love. I was so happy it was love. I was like, damn, it was one more. It was love. We shared 3 of the same. And I was so happy it was that. I said, oh, that's the main one that I'll be looking for is love. Because that means that person is open and they're ready for that. And I love that. Love that. So when you go to create your core values, you are going to Google, I'm sure, because I did it. Or you can ask Chat GPT, which is still Google, but we won't go there. And you want to create these values from a place of what it is you did not receive, possibly from your parents growing up in childhood, maybe from friends you thought were friends in high school, or past lovers. These are the 3 things that I used when I was thinking about my core values. And when I also homed them down to the 5, I picked the 5 that felt best to me, that felt like what I uphold in my relationships. Okay? So when you first do your list, you are going to have a plethora of core values. It's inevitable. Do not beat yourself up, okay? Don't beat yourself up and be like, oh my God, I got like 500 on this list. Don't do that. I want you to literally individually look and see what each core value represents. Look and see what each one represents. Because one core value may have three other core values listed as its meaning. You can put all three of those under that one core value. That's one of your core values, okay? So look up each core value that you write down in your initial draft. Once you get your initial draft, and now if you can, and I'm only saying this so you can kill time and you're not dragging it out. However, if you need time, take the time. Okay? If you can, try to keep your initial draft of core values to under 20. I know that's a high number, and there's probably some life coaches like this is crazy, but no, we a lot of us black and brown women are overthinkers. Stop trying to make us not overthink. If anything, help us work through the analytics of our mind. So, what worked for me was I originally created a page of core values. And what I started doing over time was I started realizing what values I can actually piece together to create a big puzzle piece. So after you get your list and try to keep it at 20, but I understand if you go more because there's so much you have to get out. Write this stuff out too because your hand to mind connection needs to be there for this project so that your body can feel you going through this process of creating these core values. Your body has to feel a part of this process. Part of our downfall in our relationships, in particular within the black and brown community, is we don't feel our bodies. We don't feel our hearts. Okay, I'm doing the taps because I actually did this. Whenever I would start to feel like anxious or I'm thinking about something crazy, or I'm obsessing over anything, I would do the taps. I don't know the actual term for this, but this shit works. I don't care what anybody says. This shit works because it makes your body snap out of it. Okay? It makes you snap out of it. So, write everything out because what that does is it allows your mind to connect to your hand. If you start getting your brain used to connecting to certain parts of your body, your neural receptors, it's so funny because me doing the taps, I'm feeling tingling and everything, and it's like going up. Your mind will begin to notice when your body is not in homeostasis. Because we're no longer feeling, we don't have that brain and heart coherence. That is why a lot of our black and brown sisters are out here running shit like they are in the NASCAR race. That's why we out here running it up like men. We are unaware. We don't feel our heart and our mind. We're not connecting the two. A lot of women, and I can only say this because I was one of them, literally took our hearts out and set them on a fucking plate of ice, and we ran because it got hurt and we felt like we didn't need it. We felt like emotions was no longer needed. We felt like if we feel, we won't get it done, and that is the complete opposite. When I tell you all, stopping and learning to feel my body and feel what she's saying and how she is feeling, it has made me a better mom. It has made me a better woman. It has made me so magnetic. I cannot stress it enough to you. I can't. What exercise that I like to do is if any time, and when you're starting to get anxious, you just start to get jittery. Whenever I feel that, I say to myself, Kim, what are you feeling right now? So when you're doing your core values, and this is why I'm saying this, as you're writing them down, ask yourself, how do I feel as I write out this core value? How does this core value make me feel? What would it feel like if I received the same value that I'm asking of my partner? What would it feel like if I gave that? Okay? Write it out so that your body feels part of the process. If you start to include your body in these processes of healing, the process will be so much better, because then you won't have to keep relearning that lesson, because you never healed that wound, because you never felt you was wounded. Okay? So write out your list. It could be a full list. Oh, I can't even pull that off because it is so stuck to my thing. Oh, am I tearing it? Good job, I'm tearing it. I was gonna pull off my list of like core value traits for my husband, the initial list, but that's okay. It's tearing up. Next, after you write out that list, go over that list and feel what you're feeling, recognize your feelings, and then you want to look up each one. Okay, I've said all this already, and you want to bring it down to five. We have five fingers, five core values that work for you. Here are mine. So I want you guys to know what mine are. My core values, I got my handy dandy little notebook, is honesty, accountability, respect, gratitude, and love. These are my standards for any relationship, not just love relationships, but also in business, that are the most important to me, that make me feel like a woman. So when I was able to ask one of my prospectives, hey, what are your core values? And he listed back three that matched. That's a great match. If you take that three and divide it by five, what is that? Like 85%? If I did that math wrong, who gives a shit? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's an 85% match. That's a good match. 3 out of 5. Okay? It's a very good match, that you and that person can actually work together. There was a couple on YouTube. Alexi is the wife's name. Alexi. I remember that because all my daughter's names begin with an A, and I really love her name. Like if I was to have another daughter, I probably would name it after her. Name her after her. Um, and oh my God. One of the things she said, which really hit home, was why her and her husband were able to stay together. They had like a 7 year window that things were kind of rocky in their marriage. But they said they had some really low moments and some really high moments. And they said one of the key things that made that marriage work during that window was they had the same core values, and that's what kept them together. If they did not share those values, they probably would have been split up. And that they liked each other a lot. They vibed. I was like, when she said that, I said, God damn it, that shit clicks. And it made me also realize why. So one of my exes has this thing where he keeps going back to his past that he forever says he wants to run from, right? And I said, now I understand why he keeps going back, because they share the same values. They may be toxic values, but because they share the same values, the relationship will never end, because nobody's learned their lesson enough to switch up their values. They're valuing the same thing out of fear, for one. Fear, they have anxious attachment style. That's what I noticed. But I was like, wow, that answers a lot of questions. So for my black and brown sisters who may have had an ex possibly go back to another ex or anything like that, or you feel like he chose someone over you of any sort, this is probably the main reason, because a lot of times if you agree to be in a relationship with someone without even sitting and talking about your core values, you are agreeing to the same values each other holds unconsciously. But what happened is, after so long, those values start playing out, and then each other, you start realizing, okay, well, I don't like that. But if you never discuss what's important to you, what's valued to you, how would they have known? So that is a part of the reason your values didn't align with their values. For me, I do not want to be with anyone where we share no core values. we gotta share three or better. That's my rule. Three or better. If we don't share three or better, this ain't it. This ain't it. So I didn't want to make this video too long. I wanted to make this quick. Get you guys a list of core values. Write them out. Get that hand, your mind, to realize what your hand is doing so that your body realize what it's doing, because you want your core values to radiate through your entire being. You want that brain and heart coherence type of core values. You need it to be brain and heart. You need your mind and your heart to agree. This works. I feel good with this core value. I feel good giving this type of energy as a core value in my relationships. Okay? I want you guys to do that. Write them out. Maybe create yourself a list of 20 that you can break down into a list of 5. You need to end with a list of 5. You don't have a list of 20 because then you get to dating different people and then you got to go through okay, do they check, check, check? You start doing the check, 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 you forget that you even got to focus on the person, because it don't stop at core values. Core values is just a good start. Okay, we share the same values. How can I build with this? It's just a start. It is not the end all be all. Okay? But that's the end of my spiel. If you love the way, Jesus, why do I sound like a terrible person? But I want to thank you all for coming to the Rose Garden. It is always a pleasure for me to have you guys in my amazing sacred space. I love you all to the moon and back. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We are at 232. I am so honored to have you all here. Love this space. It's sacred for all of us. Like I said, I have some new course material that's going to be coming out soon. The middle of June, we're going to be releasing not just the website, but I also have a digital course for Black and brown women to help you heal. I don't want to tell too many details because I really want to be a great surprise. It's a really great product. It's not going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be very simple, very easy to read, very easy to do some of the exercises within it. And it's going to help you grow into the amazing queen that you already are. Okay? Because it helped me. This is stuff that I've done for me, and now I'm just putting it on paper for you guys to enjoy. So let's get it. Let's glow up. Let's grow up, and let's be in love. Let's be in love with ourselves first. So then our king has something to come in and love too. He only gonna know how to love you through you, boo. Bye.